You are watching KAVU 25 News Now at 10.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Trenton Whiting. Amaya Norman is off tonight. Victoria police are investigating a shooting early this morning that left one person dead. Police responded to a business on Lone Tree Road at about 1:10 this morning, finding a person with gunshot injuries. They were taken to an area hospital before succumbing to what police called severe injuries. This is an active homicide investigation. VPD says more details will be released as available. Police are requesting that anyone with information call the Victoria Crime Stoppers line at 361-572-4200. The Lavaca County Sheriff's Office reports an arrest of an undocumented immigrant as part of the Operation Lone Star Task Force. Eric Zuniga Coronado, a Mexican national, was arrested after a traffic stop that led to deputies finding a gold-plated gun in the center console. Authorities determined that he was in the country illegally and handed the case to Homeland Security for federal prosecution. Coronado is charged with possessing a firearm as an illegal immigrant, and he pled guilty on Thursday. Seadrift police are reporting that no threat to students or staff at Seadrift School after an investigation by the Calhoun County ISD Police Department. Seadrift School reported a student and his parents and didn't find any weapons. Authorities determined there was no threat to the school. But that'll lead us to your viewer poll for this evening. We ask you, are you satisfied with the response to potential school threats from police and administrators? Looks like about 46% of our voters say somewhat satisfied, suggesting that they could get a little bit of a better response. But up next in the lead is 33% of our voters saying very dissatisfied. And I'm sure that several of our voters and viewers have children in school in local areas. So definitely a very important topic. Definitely want to keep our children safe. But we want to thank you for voting. It's definitely not too late for you to vote. Go ahead and come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. Speaking of schools, an investigation is underway in Crowley, Texas, after a picture emerged on social media. It shows students sitting on the floor of a school bus, which is against the law in Texas. Marvin Hurst spoke with one of the students on the bus, and he explains what happened.
There's been a lot of talk about what happened on a school bus in Crowley. Michaela Lyons, who would only speak with us over the phone, says the bus in question came to their neighborhood Wednesday morning to pick up her son en route to school.
And my son called me and he's like, I seen him, like just his face. And then he's like, Mom, you got to call and figure something out because we're sitting on the floor. We're on like a bus with no seats.
Before lunchtime, what her ninth grader described became a hot topic on a community Facebook page about Crowley ISD. So we're not identifying her son because of his age. But he says this was not their normal bus and it was full.
I seen people sitting in the back, or the people that got on the bus before me. I saw them sitting down. I'm like, where's the rest of the seats? And I saw the ramp, and I'm just like, so we got to sit down on the floor?
He says 4 students sat on the bus's floor.
Did they instruct you all to sit on the floor, or was it your choice?
There really wasn't any other seats. The only open seat, it was like a big puddle of water there, so nobody really wanted to sit there.
According to Crowley ISD, they have not received any formal complaints from parents. As a matter of fact, they tell me that they found out about this on social media, and that's where parents continue to burn this issue up, saying that the school system lacked communication in this situation, and that this is an incident that's against Texas state law. Crowley ISD says it's aware of a social media post showing students sitting on the floor of a school bus, even though the 28-passenger bus had only 16 students on board with seats available. The system says students are not permitted to sit on the floor. This situation should have been addressed immediately, and they have met with the driver and monitored directly. But is that enough for the parents whose children are on the very vehicle where the rubber meets the road?
So I was a little bit disappointed in Crowley ISD. I would say that.
In Crowley, Marvin Hurst, CBS News, Texas.
All right, so let's go ahead and check in with Trey Mining, who's got a first look of our forecast this weekend. Trey, what's it looking like?
Well, warm and humid, no doubt about it, coming up. Had a few rain showers and thunderstorms earlier in this afternoon around Victoria County, especially about Nursery area, Thomaston area between there and Cuero. They've all faded away now. A lot of we lost the daytime heat. That's false echo you see there flashing down there in the Maricopa Bay area out into the Gulf. So temperatures definitely on the warm side and humid, no doubt about it. So stay in the air conditioning if you can. Live view from Victoria College, 83 degrees currently is the temperature. Feel like temperature is still 91 after this late hour. Still very hot outside, southerly winds, the humidity quite high. Rain showers and thunderstorms again for your day tomorrow. Yes, perhaps more than we had today. What's your Labor Day looking like? Looks like a little bit on the wet side, more than a little bit perhaps. We'll take a look at that forecast a little bit later on. Trenton?
Thank you, Trey. In Washington, D.C., it's the first holiday weekend amid the federal takeover there. More than 2,000 National Guard troops will be stationed at the National Mall, outside metro stations, and other heavily trafficked areas. While President Trump says it's making the city safer, others are arguing it's inflicting danger. Leanna Golden has this report.
It's become the Friday night norm in D.C. Military vehicles on street corners, these ones stationed in Navy Yard. Locals and visitors alike coming up to check them out and ask the soldiers questions.
It's extremely frustrating.
Outside that crowd, you'll find Greg Jackson. He used to work for D.C. government and in the White House Office of Gun Violence Prevention. He's since taken his passion to the streets, working on a local level.
Have you guys been included in the conversation when it comes to working with federal partners?
Local community-based groups have not been included in any of these conversations.
The first week of Trump's takeover, 7 News checked in with violence interrupters, who then said they fear being left out of the conversation. Jackson says nothing's changed.
Most of the organizations like Guns Down Friday, the Trigger Project, Cure the Streets, most of their interactions, and I just talked to them on a ride over here, has been when a certain officer just pops out of their car in their neighborhood. And this rotating cast of characters from West Virginia and Tennessee and Ohio, they have no relationship to the neighborhood. You know, I just hope that some form of leadership actually takes the time to be a part of the ecosystem, to learn from MPD, to learn from the local organizations, the violence interrupters.
Meantime, at the White House, President Trump's chief of staff for policy said this.
President of the United States, he will not relent, and he will use every authority and tool at his disposal to ensure that the capital city of the United States is safe for all Americans. And we will never waver, and he will never waver from fulfilling that mission.
As for checkpoints this weekend, federal officers told 7 News they can't reveal where they'll be set up, but did tell us they'll be patrolling 13 metro stations across the city.
A federal judge blocked the Trump administration effort to speed up deportations of some migrants on Friday. The policy would subject migrants detained in the interior of the country to accelerated deportation. Right now, expedited removal only applies to those detained within 100 miles of the U.S. border. Also, fast-tracked migrants must not have resided in the U.S. for more than 2 weeks. District Judge Gia Cobb slams the effort to expand expedited deportations. She cited the Fifth Amendment as guaranteeing due process. She also said if it could be denied in those cases, it could be denied to anyone in the country, even citizens. Major developments in the break-ins at homes of some big celebrities and sports figures. ABC's Jacqueline Lee joins us with the details.
This morning, new details in the arrest of a Seattle man after SWAT teams say they raided a pawn shop and uncovered hundreds of thousands of dollars of stolen goods belonging to the rapper Macklemore and likely other professional athletes. Police arresting this man, 29-year-old Patrick Masonette, in connection with the home invasion robbery, calling him the prime suspect with a lengthy rap sheet of violent offenses. In June, police believe Masonette and an accomplice targeted Macklemore's home.
Priority residential burglary. Confirmed our victim has been pepper sprayed. She's unable to verify if there's any weapons.
Alleging the two men broke in and attacked a nanny with bear spray. She was watching Macklemore's 3 children. According to police, 2 masked men made off with bags filled with watches, shoes, and jewelry.
There were hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of jewelry, watches, rings, things of that nature.
Authorities now saying they found many of those jewels during the pawn shop raid, including a custom Seattle Saunders FC championship ring that Macklemore flashed in his music video, Chant.
I was supposed to be a one-hair ringer. Now I got too many rings and not enough fingers.
Macklemore, known for hit songs like Thrift Shop, was not home at the time of the robbery.
I'm gonna pop some tags. Only got $20 in my pocket.
The arrest happening just after prosecutors charged another man with the burglary of the homes of former Seattle professional athletes, including what appears to be an attempted burglary at the home of Mariners Hall of Famer Edgar Martinez.
For more on today's news stories, come to crossroadstoday.com. Don't forget to submit your birthday wishes. Carolina Estrain and Parker Cox will read them live on 25 News Now Sunrise. You can also submit a local military hero so we can recognize them. Now, coming up, a drug meant to help could be somewhat harmful for certain groups. Here in a moment.
Let's take a review of the day. 99 degrees, almost 100 degrees with official high in Victoria. Low 73 degrees, which is right on target for our normal low, above normal for a normal high. 105 back in 2012, nowhere near that hot. For us, thankfully, we're getting pretty close to that, but not anywhere near that level, I don't think. Below normal for the month and rainfall, above normal for the year. More rain headed our way. Yes, that's very much on the positive side for that. Here are the details coming up in the forecast.
Welcome back. Workers at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in Atlanta will return to the office in a couple of weeks. The agency has directed workers to return on September 15th. That's a little over a month since a gunman attacked the agency's campus. Police say Patrick White killed a police officer and fired off nearly 500 rounds during the shooting. He then shot and killed himself. No one else was hurt. It has been a tumultuous time at the agency. Just this week, the agency's director, Susan Monarez, left her position after clashing with Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. over vaccine policy and her refusal to fire several veteran CDC leaders. The FDA has approved this year's updated COVID-19 vaccines, but only for a certain group of people. That includes adults ages 65 and older, as well as any people who have certain medical conditions that would put them at a higher risk for a severe COVID-19 infection. According to the CDC, that includes asthma, heart disease, diabetes, and pregnancy. However, doctors can still provide the vaccines off-label for those who do not meet the new eligibility criteria. The vaccines are expected to be available at many pharmacies, doctors' offices in the fall. The CDC's Vaccine Advisory Panel is scheduled to meet next month, where they will weigh in on who should receive the vaccine. Their recommendation will determine whether insurance companies cover the cost of the shot. The CDC says COVID cases are ticking up in the U.S. as children head back to school and winter cold and flu season approaches. But there is growing confusion as to where Americans will be able to get the new COVID vaccine amid changes to the vaccine policy that is fueling turmoil at the agency. Here's ABC's Olivia Rubin with the details.
Policy changes from the CDC are fueling confusion over how and where Americans will be able to get the new COVID vaccine. The new vaccines are rolling out to pharmacies across the country, but a delayed CDC meeting along with those changes is making it difficult for people to get the shot. CVS has announced it will limit access to the shot in 16 states, requiring prescriptions in 13 states, including New York, Florida, and Colorado, and simply not offering it in 3 others. Walgreens says they will give vaccines in states where we will be able to do so. The FDA has approved the COVID vaccine this fall for Americans over 65 or those at high risk. But a critical CDC panel is not expected to give its recommendation for several more weeks. The White House insists the vaccine will still be available for all Americans who want it, but sidestepped questions on whether insurance will continue to cover it.
The FDA's decision does not affect the availability of COVID vaccines for Americans who want them. We believe in individual choice.
It comes as HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a longtime vaccine skeptic, continues his efforts to overhaul U.S. vaccine policy. This week, he ousted the head of the CDC, Susan Menarez, when she refused to get on board with his changes. Her lawyer saying she, quote, refused to rubber stamp unscientific, reckless directives and fire dedicated health experts. Some Democrats now calling for RFK to be fired.
Vaccines are pretty settled science. We've seen the measles outbreak that has recurred in parts of the South. Now what's going to happen with folks that are vulnerable who want their COVID vaccine? I'd say what RFK Jr. has done is putting us all at risk.
Kennedy has now named his deputy, Jim O'Neill, as the interim director of the CDC, who has said he supports vaccines, but not vaccine mandates. Olivia Rubin, ABC News, New York.
New research suggests beta blockers may not benefit the vast majority of patients and may even raise the risk of death for some women. Beta blockers have been used for decades as a first-line treatment after a heart attack. One analysis focused only on women and found those with little heart damage after their heart attack were significantly more likely to have another heart attack if they were treated with beta blockers. They were also more likely to die. That is compared to women who were not treated with the drug. Another study found no benefit in using beta blockers for any patient, male or female, whose hearts were still performing well after a heart attack. However, a separate study did find benefits for those whose hearts may be mildly damaged.
Okay, a quiet night here in the Crossroads region. The rain is out of the picture for the time being. Quiet night tonight. Revving up again tomorrow. Better chances on Labor Day. What about the rest of the week coming up? And temperatures, any change there? We'll find out coming up next in the full forecast. Good Saturday evening, everyone. Trenton Mining here. And taking a look at the Gulf, pretty quiet overall. Some thunderstorms in the central Gulf, pretty much faded away now. There is a frontal boundary extending from about Texas-Louisiana border out into the Gulf, just south of New Orleans or toward Florida and out into the Atlantic Ocean. That's been the boundary line for storms to get going during the day today and will be again for your day tomorrow. Pretty much to our east, so not really affecting Victoria too much, but it's making a progress to the south and southwest, which will bring our rain chances even higher coming up for your day tomorrow, especially on your Labor Day on Monday. Tropics looking very quiet overall. Some thunderstorms south of the North Carolina, South Carolina coast, watching that, not really anything getting developed out there. No named storms out there currently, very unusual for the near peak of hurricane season, so hope this will continue, but very unusual to be this quiet overall in the Atlantic Basin. Watching a weak wave coming off Africa here, which may have some potential for getting developed as we go toward the rest of the week coming up, so we'll be watching that. That's a long way away from anybody, so we'll have a long time to watch that. Feel like temperatures turning off in the 80s currently and staying that way through the rest of the morning time to about 6 or 7 o'clock tomorrow. Temperature is rocketing up again. By the time we get to about 10 o'clock in the morning, it'll be 100 or so feel like temperature. When you add the little wind in, air temperature, and the humidity factor in, a little bit of a breeze from the north coming up for your day on Sunday as the week front moves on through, which will increase our rain chance overall. Some of this will be rain-cooled air, so get ready for the rainfall again. Coming up for a day tomorrow, probably in the afternoon time, will be the best times when that will be occurring. And same thing goes for your day on your Monday, Labor Day. So we'll take a look at the future tracker here. Rainfall in the central part of the state of Texas, including our region here toward the Gulf Coast. And that'll be continuing to be our case coming up for your day tomorrow, especially on your day on Monday. Then it'll move to the south, high pressure ridge in, giving us better chances of sunshine coming up about Tuesday into the rest of the week coming up. Victoria coming up early tomorrow morning, mostly on the calm side. A few high clouds here and there. Temperatures in the 70s, above 90 by noontime, and then 91, 92 degrees by the time we get 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Good chance of rain, shower, storm in the afternoon, heat during the day, 3 o'clock to about 6 o'clock or so in the evening. Port Lavaca, calm on the outside at 6 a.m., 80 degrees, and in the low to mid 90s coming up by 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Best chance to see a thunderstorm be during the 3 o'clock hour or so, to about 6 o'clock or so to about the sunset hour. In the Cuero as well, a few clouds in the morning time, partly cloudy skies throughout the rest of the time period, highs in the 90s. Rain chances in the afternoon time would be about the 40% or so, revving up to 70%. For your day Monday, you have any travel plans for Labor Day? They want to bring them inside and stay home because the rain chance is pretty high. Alert day because of some heavy rain potential during that day. We'll keep watching weather developments for you. Calming down a little bit as the front moves away on your Tuesday. And then heat takes over and the hot temperatures, sunny skies will take us through the rest of the time period. Another rain chance on Saturday or so. So be careful out there, be mindful of the heat. Lows in the 70s, by the way, early in the morning times. Take a look at this right here. This is the QR code. Get your smartphone, scan the code you see there on your screen. It'll take you to a web page. You can download our app. News, weather, and sports at your fingertips. Very easy, convenient to have on your phone. Be connected with us. Everything you need to know up in the crossroads about news, weather, and sports. And speaking of sports, we got Ray Robinson.
Thank you, Trey. And after a dominant display in the Lavaca River rivalry, we hear from a few of the players responsible for their play on the field in the Edna Cowboys. Hear what they have to say coming up in sports. Week 1 of high school football is now in our rearview mirror, and it's a great sign of things to come this season. And for the second year in a row, the Edna Cowboys walked out of the Lavaca River rivalry victorious. This year's Lavaca River rivalry showdown was one that came with many questions. And although the outcome was the same as last year's, with Edna coming out on top, it came in a different way. And games like this with bigger spotlights only emphasizes the will to compete hard.
Yeah, you know, feeling good. I feel like we came out and competed and took care of business.
It feels good. All 4 years of high school, being the champs of that. But it was big that our defense came out here and made a big statement tonight. A whole team effort. Only points they scored was on a bobble snap. We knocked out the back of the end zone.
And although it's just week 1, it's only going to get tougher for the Edna Cowboys as they got Bay City next week and Refugio in the following. But the strategy, according to quarterback Trevor Floyd and Hunter Beering, still remains pretty simple.
Yes, sir. We're going to have to be consistent more in practice. We're going to have to keep being consistent, keep showing up on time, all that good stuff. Little things matter, always.
The way our defense plays, it was a really tough flying around, getting to the ball. It was amazing defense today, which we've had the previous years. We've had great coaching, so that all leads up to who we are now.
All right, Crossroads, over the next couple of weeks, I'll be showing you the top 3 plays from the night prior in our CFL show. Week 1 has definitely brought some exciting plays that are worth talking about. Let's start off with the Lavaca River rivalry game. First score of the game and of the season sees Edna's Trevor Floyd on the quarterback keeper, and there you see him bringing it in with some authority. And it looks like Edna will have to continue with some size at QB in this position, and plays like this showcase just that. And let's go to number 2 as the reigning state champions in the Ganado Indians take the field against Van Vleck. And there you see senior wide receiver Austin Pena catches a long throw with nothing but space and opportunity and running it for a touchdown as he does it effortlessly. And your number 1 play of the week is in Tidehaven as they took on Palacios, and senior Tidehaven quarterback Kel Russell marches it to the end zone with some Tigers and company to help him with some blocking. But Kel just being a guy to showcase that he can be a dual threat this season, and I'm all here for it. Make sure you submit your highlights that you think should be mentioned next week. And in some non-football but local sports news, this afternoon was the last sports game under the UHV name. The men's soccer team took on the number 16th ranked Oklahoma City Stars, and as you all know, UHV will be transitioning into Texas A&M Victoria, and the Stars didn't make the transition easy. The Jags went scoreless in this game as Oklahoma City managed to put up 5 goals, and the Jaguars will prepare to face Nelson back at home at the Cage as Texas A&M Victoria. And with the start of high school football, you also know that means the kickoff for your college football on the following day. And the big noon kickoff featured Texas taking on Ohio State, and it was Ohio State to be the aggressor on the defensive side of the ball, making it tough for Arch Manning in his first game on the road. The Longhorns had some defensive plays on their own, causing an incomplete on the Buckeyes' 4th down. Ohio State was 1 touchdown better than the Longhorns today, winning the game. Final score 14-7. The Longhorns will play San Jose Spartans next Saturday at 11 a.m. as the home team. So best of luck to the Longhorns. But that does it for your sports. Trenton?
Thank you, Ray. And since we're talking about football, there's one song that has to play before any football kickoff. We'll check out this Rockers version of it next.
Well, quick look at your weather. Highs for your day tomorrow in the mid-90s or so. Rain chances on Labor Day 70%. Be careful out there. Could be some heavy rainfall. Hot and dry the rest of the week coming up until next weekend.
All righty. Well, yesterday was the official start of Friday Night Lights, and we had some good weather for some football, but you can't start a football game without the national anthem. Tidehaven brought out rock star and Tidehaven alum Rudy Perez to give a hard rock rendition of America's favorite song, and you got to listen to it for yourself.
guitar lessons. From
Yeah, that was
Very
intense.
impressive.
That's intense. Absolutely. Well,
Big time.
thank you for joining us. We hope to see you back here Sunday for 25 News Now at 5:30.